Well, we're going to look at that one more time, because this time you're going to have to find a missing piece of your triangle, then turn around and find the area of the whole triangle. So, real quick, let's do this. It's not going to be that hard, because I think you should be fine. Okay, so you've got your right triangle again. Now, you're told that this side is 9, this side is 6. Okay. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to find this side. Okay? So we want to find this side. So we're going to do 2 steps. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So like I said, first thing you want to do is that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we're going to do that first and find that missing piece. So now, what are we going to plug in here?
6 squared, b squared equals c.
Okay, so again, the only piece that really matters is this 9, and it's c. Okay, so I'm going to say 6 is a, my question mark, the side I don't know, is going to be b, and then of course my 9 is c. So that means it would be 6 squared plus b squared equals 9 squared. So 6 squared is 36 plus b squared equals 81. So again, all I did was plug my sides in, squared each one, because 6 times 6 is 36, 9 times 9 is 81. So now, what do I have to do to solve this? Subtract 36, because they are on different sides. So now I've got b squared equals, so 81 minus 36 is what? 45. So I've got b squared equals 45. Again, I don't want b squared, I want b. So we should know how to find that. Again, rounding to the nearest tenth. Okay? So, if I take 45, round it to the nearest tenth, I'm going to get what? Apparently I hit something wrong, because that didn't come out right. Okay, that looks better. So when I round it, it should be b equals 6.7. Okay, so now I know b is 6.7. So that's part 1. We already know how to do that. We've been working on that. Now, the second part. The second part is that we want to find the area. So I'm going to slide this over a little bit. So now we want to find the area. So for your area, we are going to do, remember, it's a equals 1/2 base times height. One half times base times height. So you have to make sure you got both A and B. If you don't have A and B, it's not going to work. Because you got to have that base and the height. Because, and I'm going to put it right here, that these are both A and B. Because that's what the base and the height are. They are not the diagonals, they are the A and the B of the right triangle.
When we use, or when we use D, do we use 45 or 6.7?
Well, it's going to depend on what they're wanting from you. Are they going to want the exact answer, or are they wanting a rounded answer?
Probably rounded, right?
So if they're wanting a rounded answer, then we can use the decimal form. If they want an exact answer, then you'll have to use the,
45.
yeah. Well, you can't use 45 because 45 is the b to the second power.
So the only
You would have to use the square root form.
Okay.
So if you had the decimal form and you hit the button on there that changes it to a square root, because there should be one on there.
I don't know.
Well, right now we'll just go with decimal. Okay? And we'll leave it at that. If it changes, I'll let you know. Because I can pretty much do with it whatever I want. So, let's plug these in. So we're plugging in both A and B. So we're doing 1/2 times A and B. What were A and B?
6 and 6.7.
6 and 6.7. Okay? Because remember, we just found, we're not wanting C. We just found out that this side was 6.7. So we're wanting both A and B. We're wanting these two. Because this is your base and this is your height. We don't want the diagonal. We want the base of your triangle and the height of your triangle. Okay? So you can put that on there. This is your base and this is your height. So those are the two pieces that we're wanting. So that's why it's A and B. So all you gotta do is plug them in, multiply it out, and you should be good. So if you multiply this out, 1/2 times 6 times 6.7, again, make sure they're rounded to the 10th. What are we gonna get? We're gonna get what? 20.1. So our final answer here is 20.1. So we've got two answers. We've got the 6.7 that we had to find, because if we don't have this, we can't do this. And then of course we've got our area. Does that make sense? We have to have this. Otherwise we cannot do this. Okay, question. Okay, let's try one more. So that way when I give it to you tonight, there's no freaking out and telling me I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so this time, on this example, let's do 10 and 6. So we got 10 and 6. So we're going to do the two things again. Remember, we've got to have the base and the height. So remember, this is your base and the height. We've got to have both. So the first thing we've got to do is that Pythagorean theorem. So we have to do our a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That's step one. So if we plug this in, what are we going to plug into our Pythagorean theorem? Okay, 6 squared plus b squared equals 10 squared. So 6 squared we already know is 36 plus b squared equals 100. So now if I subtract 36, I'm going to get b squared equals, what when I subtract?
64.
64. So now, if I take the square root of that, what does b come out to be? 8. So this time b came out to be an exact number. So now I've got both a and b. Okay, I've got my base and I've got my height. So on the second part, I can plug into my a equals 1/2 times base times height. So if I plug that in, it's going to say what?
1/2 times b times c.
Okay, 1/2, well, it doesn't matter which one's first or multiplying them all together. I'm going to do 6 times 8 just because base is my 6 and height is my 8. So now if I multiply that together, so I'm doing 1/2 times 6 times 8. Oh, that was the wrong thing. 0.5 times 6 times 8. And we'll get what? 24. Okay, so any questions? So at this point, you've got 3 things that you've got to do now. Find the Pythagorean theorem. You've got to decide if it's a yes or no. And you've got this part where you've got to do Pythagorean theorem and then plug in your answers to find the area. So any questions? So everybody's good. Okay, you've got a couple of minutes.